Glad to call the meeting to order. Bonnie, lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, Bonnie. Ready to hit me yet? Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the December 10th, 25 town board meeting? Any requests for changes, additions, deletions? Hearing none, these are the clerk's minutes. That brings us to our first public comment. We've got a lot of stuff to talk tonight, so if anybody's got public comment, I'm going to ask you to try and keep it to 3 minutes if you can. But any hands for public comment?
Stand here.
Right where you are.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. And
Paul Muller. I'm coming here today to address the concerns. I saw it on the minutes that for something new coming up about the Uncas Road situation with the snowplow guys that are basically plowing the snow in front of people's driveways and on the trail. I know that Uncas Road is a road, but the town is constantly cutting down the side of the trail there and shelving it for the snowmobiles to ride, so they don't have to ride the street. And whoever this person is, I'm not gonna send names out, but they constantly, no matter how much snow we get, they constantly stick it back up. Like if the driveway's like this, here's the snowmobile trail, they put it right there on both sides of the snowmobile trail, blocking the path. So now when someone comes down the road, they have to go around that. And I don't know if you're a snowmobile or not, but you know as well as I do, people don't always look behind them to see if there's a car coming on the road. They're forcing people off the shelf that the town has been nice enough to level out there. They're forcing them into the road. Sometimes there's not enough snow and ice on the road. They drift across the whole thing. So if they're not looking, a car's coming down, that could cause an accident, somebody could get hurt. So is there anything that can be done about the snow being plowed on top of the snowmobile trail? And it's also from the other side of the road where there are no driveways. Well, two driveways, but no driveways on one side of the road, and the people are coming right down off the road, straight across the road, putting all the snow right there into the snowmobile edge.
you want me to take that?
The town can do anything about it?
Yeah.
If it's in the right of way that we maintain,
Right.
we can do something about it, which is right now, the highway department clearing it when they're doing the shelving.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job with it, but just for argument's sake, 2 nights ago, we got 2 or 3 inches of snow. The piles were all, our pictures and everything, piles were pushed, no matter how good a job they did, the guys that are doing the snow plowing pushed it right back up on top of the fronts of their driveways there. So, there's like 8 of them, 8 drivers that are, I don't know if the same guy, 2 different guys, 3 different guys, I don't know who it is. But that's the,
Right now, there's nothing on the books to prevent them from doing that, and usually they're gonna say it's a snow emergency, they're trying to clear, they're trying to do what they're doing, and we come up and we clean it up. Me personally, not speaking as even the town's supervisor,
2 guys talking.
I also think it's a safety issue for the cars coming out of the driveway if there's too high a bank there. But
Exactly.
there's nothing on our books right now. There's nothing in highway law, I believe, right now that would say that they can't do that.
I thought it was illegal to push across a public highway.
It is not if you clean up what you push across the highway. You have to clean up.
Personally would not do that.
Right, if you're not cleaning it up, and I know this has been a bone of contention with our highway department because it's not a desirable thing, but sometimes there's no place else to put it. Not always, but sometimes.
This is a different issue, though.
This is a different issue.
And thank you for cleaning it up the other day, too, Sean.
Yes, there is definitely enough room to push it further into the culvert, though. They don't have to block the trail with the snowmobile, but they shelve it, make it nice to keep the snowmobiles on the edge instead of gliding out into the street or even riding the street.
At this point in time, it would be we can request it. We can't demand it.
Of course, I didn't know how this thing
Yeah.
worked, who's responsible, who ain't responsible. God forbid somebody gets into an accident because somebody went out, well, whose fault is that now? Is it gonna be the guy driving on the road, the snowmobile's fault? Is the guy doing the driveway plowing? Is it the town, because they didn't push it out of the way? I don't think it's the town's fault, but it comes to a point of liability if somebody gets hurt. So far, luckily, nobody's gotten hurt, but it could happen.
And it pushes open the possible look at what is our maintenance right of way on the road for the full width. I don't know if they would fully deem us shelving it for snowmobile use as part of maintenance for the road. It's a.
We have a 3-rod road through there.
Yep.
Yeah, there is plenty of room
Yep.
for 2 cars and
Yep.
some to
Yep.
go past, and the shelter is
Yep.
still a little bit to the side, but whoever this is, it's just blocking the trail for whatever reason. I don't know if he's getting his jollies doing it or what, but he's just blocking both sides. It's not like one side or the other, blocking both sides. He stacks it up here, stacks it up here, right in front of where the shelf is.
We can try and counsel.
The what?
We can try and counsel them on what would be a better way to do
That's
it.
all I can ask.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes. Anybody else?
Good evening, my name is Brad Dorita. I was here a couple of months ago
Yep.
to file a formal complaint against the junkyard that I live next to. And I dropped off some pictures and some letters from our customers and friends who have some concerns about the eyesore that's in town. I haven't heard from anybody, so I thought I'd do a follow-up with you today.
Yeah, I believe the two things that we brought forward at that point in time, I met with you and your wife, I believe before the first meeting that we had. I know we're working, I believe, a little bit faster probably on the noise portion of it. As I've told you, that the last meeting, the meeting before, and even the first time we met, something for what you call a junkyard is a very slippery slope for us to try and handle. It has to be done town-wide or not at all, and one man's junk is another man's prized possession. The noise, I think, is still moving forward with the planning board, isn't it?
Actually, we passed it on to the police department. Remember, they were gonna,
Right.
Cliff was gonna review it.
And unfortunately, our chief isn't here with us tonight. But I know he had looked at the possibility, the issue was going to be scheduling on the noise ordinance, and he had a way that he was going to work around that. I have not seen the final report on that yet.
Okay, so something to bear in mind. Now, the noise is an issue also. My neighbor was out for 6.5 hours last Sunday, snow blowing his front yard because the plow guy left the snow in the wrong place. So it was done on a Sunday from 9:30 in the morning to, I don't know, somewhere around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we didn't have any customers or friends over that day, so I really didn't make us think about it. I didn't call the police. I just figured, well, he was doing his own thing to try and make the driveway better for his customers, since he did have some renters in. The noise, to me, is secondary. And the reason why is if the guy is unloading or unloading vehicles or equipment on his trailers or running one of his machines, it may be for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever, and then it stops. He might do it again 3 hours later. The eyesore does not stop. That's 24/7, 365. Every time I look out my window, walk out my door, drive out my driveway, I have to look at a pile of crap and all the stuff that's next door to me. You know what I'm talking about, all of you do, okay? It's not one man's treasure. There's scrap, there's junk, it's unsanitary, it's a mess. And I'd like to get it fixed.
It's not going to be an easy solution, and I don't see it happening within the next 2 years. It is commercial property, as I've told you before, as our codes office has told you before, and we don't have a definition that goes down to resort area commercial property. That is a very hard thing to come up with and delineate what shouldn't be there. I agree with you. I don't like what's sitting there either, but it's zoned commercial.
I understand that, but just how much commercial can you do on one piece of property? Can you run 8 businesses out of one little square spot on his piece of property? I don't think that's very fair. Number one, one of the most important things is in the code of this town, it says that your neighbor can't do anything that would devalue your property. It says that in the code. So I'm sort of wondering why I have to live next to that, and it devalues my property, makes it look like crap. And every time I get some visitors or customers, they say, wow, you need to live, you live next to that? I said, yeah, I love my home, I love my piece of property, I love Inlet, but the next door neighbor sucks. That's what I'm upset about.
I understand that.
And I haven't heard from anybody. I was hoping at least in 60 days or two meetings, somebody would have called me and say, hey, Brad, we're working on it. We didn't forget you. We'll get back to you or come on to another meeting. I haven't heard from anybody, nor the planning board. So it's like maybe it's going to go away. It's not going to go away.
Due process though, really. I mean, this is a process, goes to the planning board first.
I don't know how much more I can tell you what we're working on or trying to do. I literally took it to the planning board at the next meeting, and I told you that at 2 meetings ago and last meeting. I apologize if I haven't been literally holding your hand each step of the way on this, but I don't know what more I can tell you. I can't create zoning, spot zoning out of the blue. It's illegal in New York State. I've been told that repeatedly when we've had issues in the past where somebody might have had I'll use an example of too many lawnmowers on their property. It's happened before. And anytime we tried to, for lack of a better terminology, bring the hammer down on the situation, we got told we couldn't.
Well, I understand that there are certain codes, but I had offered a suggestion to start rewriting some of the code for the town and make some more strict rules about how our beautiful little town should look, because parts of it are not beautiful.
And I took that immediately at the next planning board meeting to the planning board.
Yeah, and that's something that takes a lot of time.
It just
And public
does.
comment and public hearings and organizing and attorneys, and it's not something that's gonna happen overnight.
I did not shove it under the desk. I did not put it to the side. I tried to follow the process that we have in place. I found out a long time ago when I first sat in this chair that the things that you think you're going to get done very quickly don't happen quickly. And I know that's not what you want to hear. And I apologize. And again, I know I have to trot out the same trite stuff that I tossed out before. Good fences make better neighbors. And I apologize, but if it's unsightly and you feel unsafe and it's not deemed unsafe for whatever reason, a good fence would make a better neighbor. And I apologize. That's the only short-term solution I can come up with for you tonight.
Well, we did have a short conversation about how unsafe it is. And when this person has visitors, tenants, friends that come over and visit, their kids, whether they're 4 years old or teenagers, are running around that area and they're climbing on trailers and equipment and running over sand piles with bicycles and stuff, and it really is unsafe. I think sooner or later, he's gonna have a liability issue with his insurance company, God forbid somebody gets hurt, or killed, or maimed. And I don't think that that's a very safe operation over there. So we have a lot of different aspects about the problem that we have next door.
I would agree, but my hands are tied right now. I apologize. Anything else for public comment? Gary?
John, I was at the meeting a few months ago and spoke about the culvert on the Limekiln Road. And you agreed, and Dan came in on Zoom that maybe something should be done. What they do, they came and dug up, put in a 3-foot culvert, put it in the same elevation as the culvert that was in there. So the swamp is still there, you know. Maybe the county should have had somebody come up with a transit and say, let's put this a little bit lower and get the creek where it went before. Now what? It's paved over, gonna have a swamp, I guess.
Then the county's gonna have to come up and fix it yet again.
Okay.
I believe as soon as that happened, I went to Sean, I went to Tracy Eldridge, our county highway superintendent, and pointed it out to him. He's aware that it's at the exact same spot that it was before. And the initial claim back was that there was no swamp on the other side of the road. I believe we're gonna be working through that with Mr. Eldridge.
Look at it today.
That's backed up pretty good.
Yep, so it has not gone away. Wasn't too happy with the way that was put in myself.
Thank you. Another thing, the Six Lake Dam, did you have any input? Did anybody came or go to see what was going on at the Six Lake Dam? What was gonna happen?
That's what he's here to talk about tonight.
The gentleman in the back right now.
Okay,
He's gonna have a little
That's
presentation.
that's next on the agenda.
okay, well, I'll save my questions for him then.
Thank you.
Also, I've been talking with Chip Sauer, and he's interested in getting solar panels in the racetrack spot on his property. And he said he's contacted a couple people and he's had no interest in putting solar panels there. You know, it'd be about probably 5 acres of solar panels. I'm sure it would definitely go through APA and other things, but I wondered if the town had any interest or would back any project like that.
I know we had been approached to put them on the Cap landfill.
We went through that.
Tim and I went up and met with representatives from the company 3 or 4 times, and then they came back with their proposal. And it was gonna cost us more to put them in than we were gonna get back in energy savings and or utilities.
The overhead and everything.
The overhead and everything, and I just kind of had to scratch my head and look at the guy and say, well, you know, what's it worth? Now, that said, I myself am not opposed to any private landowner wanting to put one of those in if they wanted to.
Well, it's a few years after, maybe they've advanced.
I would hope they've advanced.
I mean, at the time, it was not worth it.
But I do believe, depending on the size of it, it's gonna have to go to the APA.
Well, I know it's gonna have to go to the APA.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything or any resistance here. I mean, the same thing if somebody wanted to put 3 or 4 of them on their house to offset whatever. There's nothing against that.
Okay,
Okay?
yep,
Okay.
those are my questions.
I have something.
Eric?
So I watched the last Zoom meeting, as I do many. I understand there's a problem on Gilbert Road. I get that. It's our lifeline here.
Yep.
One of the problems I have tonight is after the petition was sent, a resident stopped the wrong snowmobiler. I had already gone past. He claimed we were going too fast. At least we're at the end of the road. We weren't. It was a busy Saturday. We had to get through town. There was traffic everywhere. I went past. He stopped my wife's son, who's 15 years old. I don't know what the first interaction was, but as I was turning around and I look over my shoulder, the second interaction was him and his vehicle cutting my wife and kid off. And I didn't handle that very well. So I get there's a problem over there, but the problem may be with some of the landowners and not as much as the snowmobiler. One of the problems over there is the lack of two-way traffic. The snowmobile trail on the side of the road, I love it, it's great, but it's a hazard because at the end where the turnaround is, when they come up on the wrong side of the road. 9 times out of 10 going through there, somebody's on my side of the road. Going out on the other side where the yellow garage is, Gorman's house, I think, there's a little corner there, same thing. I don't know if we need some signs over there, two-way traffic. I'm good with the trail, but the trail's not wide enough for 2 lanes or so.
Right.
So I don't know if we gotta put some signs up to tell them that, but the property owner was a problem the other day. I don't know who he is, he's a year-round guy, do you know that? But it was 3 o'clock on a Saturday, they weren't speeding. Police were at the end of the road doing a trail check, I already knew they were there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his problem was, but just so the board's aware, they petitioned, I get it. But they also were out there in the road, stopping police or people, and I don't know why. So, just so you guys know that that's going on top of the complaint of the snowmobile traffic.
I think,
Maybe the complaint isn't as much as the snowmobile as it is the landowner, I don't know.
I don't think the,
It wasn't a great situation to be in on a Saturday afternoon, I can tell you that.
I don't think the petition helped, by calming any landowners down. And the town had been trying for at least 6 years to come up with a plan to try and go through, Fern Park, but it's not doable at the entrance there because it becomes an even worse choke point.
Not in agreement with there because of the sliding hill.
At bottom line, it's cross traffic.
What's the solution there? You move them off the road to put noise behind the house.
And that's kind of where we fell down on,
Front
so.
yard or backyard?
About the only thing we can do at this point is, again, try and counsel the neighbor, the landowner, possibly some more signs for better direction. It's a situation where,
It's on Lime Kiln too.
yeah,
But they threw on the side of the road. I'm a snowmobiler. I get it. I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they're riding up the wrong side of the road. It's not just up here. It's in Old Forge. It's everywhere. You go up Grondax Road, snowmobiles are coming up the wrong side of the road. I don't get it.
Where-
Two-way traffic. Why is that,
I think we also had a situation this year where with the early winter and the early snow, we got a lot of new riders, and the new riders haven't been just an issue here. They've been an issue elsewhere, going up and down 28 and Old Forge. The Hamilton County every year passes an ordinance for the county roads to be used for snowmobiling. Up until a couple of years ago, I was the one that always tried to author that resolution with the codicil that they needed to ride safe. They needed to obey the laws, and that this was a tenuous situation. If they didn't, we could lose the right to use those roads. I I don't understand a certain segment of the snowmobile traffic that chooses not to follow the rules.
God, I do it, but I don't understand riding.
Yep.
You don't ride anything against traffic. I
No,
just don't.
no.
I don't think.
So better signage, and again, trying to talk to the neighbor and talk him down off the ledge on that, because quite honestly, I believe the situation was frustrated with other users and somehow you guys got pegged. And it's not right.
Just assumed that it was somebody from out of town.
Yeah.
And it was the wrong person for them.
And
When I looked over my shoulder and the car was cutting my family off, of
Yeah.
course I became defensive,
yeah,
because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? So, it may be a snowmobile issue there, I get that.
Yeah.
I've lived here as long as anybody, but it's also a landowner issue there as well, that's all.
I'm gonna ask ADK Snowmobiling to help us out with some of that too. They've been doing a good job of putting that online and trying to help with that, right?
I have just a few thoughts on that too, just my own surveys, informal surveys, and trying to, and I want to be mindful of people that do come from out of town and recreate here, particularly on this trail system. There's a major disconnect in terms of people coming in from out of town and their active involvement with snowmobile clubs and understanding landowner relationships, trail etiquette, some of the things that Eric's bringing up tonight, and some of these problems that come along. So there's an education component to a lot of this in terms of called a lack of experience with people that are on these trails that are out there. I'm sorry.
They don't know.
They just
They're
don't.
not educated.
They don't know.
They
And
need
it's,
to be at the fire hall on snow deal weekend with their kid, not out drinking. They need to be taking the class too, a lot of them, and they just don't. They don't know.
All we can do is advertise the fact that those classes are there. You can't lead a horse to water.
Well, as towns and business people, maybe it's something that we need to start putting out there, because our sport is getting such a bad rap, that maybe these are things to look into, that the general public is not educated on it. And that's not a good thing. You can't do anything without being educated on it, and the snowmobile community is not educated on it, most of them.
Well, the state helped out with the boating situation where now you can't operate a boat without having the boater's license.
Just gonna say that, yeah.
And quite honestly, I'm not, and normally I'm not one for heavy-handed state reaction, but this seems to me a spot where they could really help us all out. It's kind of hard to do it from just an individual town standpoint because you got surrounding towns and whatever. But I thought that was a great move with boating. I'd really like to see that myself with the snowmobiling. So maybe we need to draft a letter also to our representatives and see if we can't start something along those lines. Because I don't think you should be operating any motor vehicle without at least knowing how to run it. So I agree with that. So we got other stuff we got to get going on tonight. So anything else public? I'm going to go all the way to the back.
Tom Greco, good to see you all again.
Welcome, Mr. Supervisor from Wab. Oh, no. All right.
Coach Khalil, congratulations. Good to see you up there.
Thank you.
Good job. You guys, the agenda, I picked it up, I thought it was multiple agendas. So, just everything working together with you guys over the last few years, anything that comes up, let us know, reach out, this web inlet snowmobile trail system, we're diving into it, we got a new trail maintenance head down there, Jeff Avriel. You guys are doing great up here, everybody's pretty vocal about it. Snowmobile Advocates did a great job of informing people. I do think it's gotten safer, and we had that EWI checkpoint where we didn't even have anybody come in under the influence, which was great on our end. Anything that you guys might have to suggest, we welcome when it comes to the system, and I hope that would be the same because it is shared. We saved that agreement, and it's coming up again now, right? So March will be right around the corner. And when I go into this and talking to our people down that way, it's volume is a huge part of what we can control. The weather obviously is number one. We can't control that. So just quickly, I'm just asking you guys to look into it because we are currently down that way. And it might get some heat on this, but I'm willing to take it because I just came up with it as we look into the permits. The 7-day pass and the weekday only rider pass, they're 35, or no, where's my rates? The 7 days 55 and the weekday is 60. And a regular pass is 100. And then we have the preseason, which is 80. So we're kind of all around the same amount of money there. And it's a significant amount of money for whoever's riding. I just think we can do a better job of the permit system itself. Like for both offices, I've spoken to both departments and Inlet and our own in Web. The 3 stickers, the dates you put on for the 7-day pass that folks use. I wonder how many people are going to keep re-registering. We have data on upgrades. Very few upgrade to the season pass. The weekly folks I know was kind of a local thing from years ago. We're also not selling a lot of these passes right now either. And I think about the returners, the longtime snowmobilers, the families, the people that are out and about and they come up for weeks at a time. The ones that support us when snow is not here, we get a forecast of 7-day snow. It's great. Everybody's pumped and we're all excited. Like for instance, this year with Christmas week. Well, you sell 100-something weekday, the 7-day passes. Now we've got everybody just storming up here and kind of compromising the product for the other folks that are paying the regular rate. So I think volume, looking into this will help with the volume. And I think that the ones that aren't educated, like we just heard this story over here, could maybe be a little more educated by focusing on the regular pass holders and maybe doing away with the 3 different stickers and just having, here's your season pass. Take it or leave it. If you want the deal and money is an issue with it, we offer the preseason pass. Maybe later into the season, maybe get the Snowdeo weekend, or even do like a holiday deal leading up to Christmas or something to get down to that $80, which is just $15-20 more than what they would have paid if they got the 7-day pass or the weekday. It's a lot to talk about with everybody here, but I just wanted to get you guys get that kind of known and kind of looked into as a way to address volume and also show the regular pass holders we're looking into something and we're trying to protect the product versus as many people as we can up here at all costs.
Yeah, I think
I don't have anything on that. But
I think it needs to be looked at. I agree. I know in the past, and probably here too long, according to some people, that we were scrambling trying to figure out in low seasons how to get more people to ride. We were scrambling when people would complain about hot shots out on the weekends, coming up with the midweek ride so people could come up with families. Each one of them had their own little reason as to why. Boy, that seems like a really good idea, but maybe it's time for a fresh look.
it makes sense too. I think the goal was to get more people here.
Yeah.
And I think even the wording is been around for a while. The deal, one of them's deal, that was for the weekday folks. I was confused by weekday for 7-day. But if you look at the numbers, I mean, even down where we sell passes in Old Forge, this year we had 144 of them already for the 7 days, but that's because we had the busy start to the season. Everybody's like, let's get up there. What did that do for the returners? Do those people keep riding on that 7-day? Do they upgrade? There's not a lot of folks upgrading. Last year we sold 63 7-day passes. The year before that we sold 6 in Old Forge, and then it was 60. The year before that it was 8 and 7.
Moving forward, and I don't think you keep track though with the system.
Those numbers were not right, but I totally agree, 100%. This year I've sold 12 7-day passes so far, which is a extremely low number. So I'm definitely in favor of switching to one pass.
The enforcement end too,
Yeah.
the officers out there, everybody that's doing their gig, hey, you see a pass or you don't.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna check out those 3 that there's pink, purple, silver right now, and then the one you write the week on it.
Yeah.
Can we
Just
put,
keep writing over it. I'm just.
Could just imagine how that goes.
Everybody's not doing any of this stuff.
Yeah.
When you look at Gore, it's 125 to ski for a day. I mean, it's a pretty good deal at $100 to ride for the season. I mean, you know, it's really not that expensive.
can we put a joint committee together? Look at the,
You know, I mean, I think you guys.
look at the software.
Set an agenda,
Yeah, yeah.
let it go, and you
Yeah.
guys can talk about it amongst yourselves.
I'm not a snowmobiler. I'm in the automotive and truck industry. But like New York State has inspection stickers, and they're all different colors for different months. So maybe a thought on your permits would be, instead of having a 7-day permit, which somebody could either rewrite over or whatever, or if a police officer is going by the other way, they just see one color. If you had a December, January, February, March, a color, they would be able to eye it as going by, write a ticket, enforce it, so that person will buy the permit. But maybe some sort of possibility, an option would be maybe some different colored stickers, permit stickers.
If we were gonna keep a 2-tier system, that would work.
Oh, yeah, we're thinking one.
One
sticker,
tier,
I-
one and done.
I think,
Yeah, one and done.
That's it.
We already have 3 colors. We have 3 colors.
As it is now.
A season, one's a 7-day permit.
Yes.
One's a day only permit. But
Trying to simplify.
that 7-day permit is one color, but it could be this week, it could be 3 weeks from now.
That's why
It's
it
the
was a
same
different
color.
color.
But we're trying to save money here. We're saying one color, one sticker.
all right, again, we got a lot on the docket tonight. So I'm hoping we can get a small committee together to look at the permits and hopefully the software.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I bring the program up every.
I know,
you
but,
do, and don't quit.
yeah, so, all right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
All right, and I got one more, and then I'm gonna have to get into some other stuff, and we've got another public comment later, folks.
Bonnie, did you want me to bring up the summit during public comment or during your section?
Whatever is easier for you.
Sure,
If
sure.
he
So
wants to
3
do it,
seconds
want to
or
do
less.
it after.
Go ahead.
There's a proposal on the table.
Yep, thanks, Tom.
The proposal on the table for there's a leadership summit taking place that Tom is hosting, in June. Early registration ends March 1st, which is why I'm bringing it today.
I still look from
I would love it if we could send 5 leaders from Inlet to attend a summit that is bringing up people from all over the state to Old Fort. It's taking place at Space. It's 3 days. And I would love it if IABA and the town could help subsidize the cost. It's $380 for a weekend pass and $90 for just the day on Saturday. I'm proposing for people take the weekend pass and maybe one other take a day pass. I would be happy to figure out who those leaders are, but if you'd be willing, that's about $450 for you guys and $450 for IABA if you're interested.
Which would leave just over $800 or just under $800 for the individuals to come up themselves.
So they would pay half, while IABA would pay a quarter and you guys would pay a quarter.
I'd like to offer personally a quarter myself,
Oh, thank you.
so $400 towards that.
Great.
And I don't know if this is legal or not, but that depends on whether the board wants to come up with their quarter.
And
I'll recuse myself from the vote since I'm contributing.
And I would be happy to share the 5 people up who will represent the town.
So what's the board's pleasure?
I'll move that we pick up our quarter.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I recuse myself because I'm contributing separately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3 minutes.
Wow.
Bam.
Hi, Tom.
All right, next on the docket, we've got a presentation from the Hudson River Black River Authority on the work that's gonna be done at the Six Lake Dam. John, right?
Yes, sir, Mr. Supervisor. I'll try and set this up maybe in a place where most of the board and at least some of the people can take a look at what I'm talking about, if that's okay. I also have a plan view here, but this is the conceptual drawing is maybe a little more.
And is this available online where we can share a link?
It is online, and I'd be happy to leave the poster board with you for the building here for people that are interested. But Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, Madam Clerk, it's great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to just say hello, say a few quick words about the project in recognition of your robust agenda. We are very excited about this project. to rehabilitate both the Six Lake Dam here in Inlet and the Old Forge Dam in Old Forge as one project. This is something, and I should say, my name is John Callahan. I'm the Executive Director of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District. This is something the board has been working on for about the last 15 years to get to this point. This dam was constructed in its current form in 1920, the one here at Six Lake, so over 100 years old. And if you don't like the way the conceptual drawing looks, it's only temporary. It'll only look like that for about the next 100 years. And then we'll change it again. But I'll say just a couple of words about the project and then really take questions and also preview one of the things we have done not long ago in the town of Webb was to hold a public information session. That was timely because going into the winter, we're taking a lot of their parking lot for a staging area, and there's some coordination that needed to be done with the trail there as it comes right off of the bridge. So we wanted to make sure our contractor could incorporate those comments, and that was very useful. But we want to replicate that here. In addition, the last couple of years, we have made presentations to the 6th and 7th Lake Association and also to the Fulton Chain of Lakes Association, and eager to talk more as the project goes on with all of you. So this is a $16.4 million project. It covers both sites. The contractor for the project is Tioga Construction. They're a local firm. They've done a lot of water retaining work in the area. I spent 20 years at the New York State Canal Corporation prior to coming to the regulating district, and Tioga did a lot of work for the Canal Corporation, so we're very familiar with their capabilities. So we're glad we got a capable contractor for the work. They were the low bid contractor. It is a $12.8 million construction value, and we have engineering support services for about $3.6 million on both the construction observation and the engineering that will go on throughout the course of the project. And that's Arcadis Engineering, also a very capable firm. The project involves at both sites new gates, new spillway, and the spillways at both locations will look much different than they do today. New training walls, diversion structures just downstream of the outlets for the gates so you can take some of that velocity out of the water, and basic site improvements relative to the embankment to bring the structures into strict compliance with DEC dam safety regulations. Now that very unusual looking spillway, which is longer than the existing spillway by about 2/3, is even longer than that because the labyrinth design, you see this zigzag back and forth, and I'll just pick this up and walk around with this, probably the best way to do it. It is designed to provide additional spillway capacity as opposed to the current spillway, which again only comes across about 1/3, and the rest of this on the south side, counterintuitively, or the bird side, is now earthen embankment. And the new spillway will go over to most of that length, will take up much of that embankment. Now, why is this necessary? It's necessary because according to modern DEC dam safety regulations, the spillway is not sufficient. It does not have enough surface area to convey the probable maximum flood. So we've got to change that design, change the capacity of the spillway, and we could not put a straight spillway unless we moved it about 500 yards up into the lake, which we obviously did not want to do. So you get this zigzag design, which you're seeing more and more, either a zigzag or labyrinth style spillway or a curved spillway to try and increase the surface area of the spillway in the same length. So that's the long and short of it. I know we've had in our conversations, especially with the 6th and 7th Lake Association, concerns about access, concerns about parking on the road along on what is, again, counterintuitively, the north side of the dam. It's important to note that the laydown area for this project is on the south side or the bird side, working closely with the bird family on that. The regulating district does have an existing access easement over on that side. All of the crane work, the major concrete work, the access will be from that side of the project, of the dam, utilizing the existing ingress and egress then when we get down close to the water, we're gonna have some, site control that we've also, worked closely with the bird to make sure, the bird family to make sure it works for them. But that having been said, there will be some temporary, probably traffic in and out, but very, very light project traffic on what is currently the gatehouse side and will remain the gatehouse side, other than having to get in with small pickup trucks and that sort of thing. It will be a 2-year-plus project. This project will run through at least the end of 2027. I would not be surprised at all to see it go into the early part of 2028. The important thing I want to note is that the construction work itself will not necessitate any changes to regular water levels. That's been the case on the other projects we're undertaking, currently at Indian Lake Dam, also in Hamilton County, for example. And also the control post-project will be much greater in terms of not having to utilize the water control gates in high flow events. There will be less fluctuation in water level because the spillway capacity is that much greater. So that's another benefit as well. And then, of course, the inherent dam safety benefits that will attach to having a structure that is compliant with modern dam safety regulations. So I've said a lot. Your agenda is long. We'll be back to talk. I know there are some questions, and I'm happy to take them from the board. And at your discretion, Mr. Supervisor, anyone else that's here as well.
You start with the board. If anybody on the board has any questions,
Looks interesting.
I'll turn it over to Gary Lee.
How come power generation wasn't incorporated in the project?
So-
Since you do it on other dams.
So we do not have any statutory authority to build or operate or sell hydroelectric power. Nothing that we do, and we got this question in conjunction with the Indian Lake Dam that we're reconstructing right now, would prohibit somebody from coming to FERC to submit for a temporary license, in which time they would acquire the property necessary to build the project. There would be a powerhouse. It would be very difficult to fit in here at this site, and certainly, I think probably even more so at Old Forge. You'd have to acquire property. So our statutory authority relates solely to the regulating of flows downstream. So we're just using these reservoirs as storage reservoirs. We don't actively manage these 2 reservoirs for storage like we do with the Stillwater Reservoir, because frankly, people would want our heads on a spike if we did, because the reservoirs would be
Changing all the
managed
time.
in a much different way. Some of that would attach to hydroelectric generation as well. But the simple answer is it's just not within our authority or ability to do.
You say you don't use it other places? You create power up at Stillwater, you create power at the outlet of Sacandaga.
We do not. No, we don't
You
operate.
don't?
We don't operate either of those projects. There's a private operator adjacent to the Stillwater Reservoir. That's North River Hydro, I think. And certainly Brookfield Power has a power plant adjacent to the spillway at Great Sacandaga. But those are private companies, and they went to FERC to get either a license or an exemption to build and manage those projects.
Okay.
I believe the town of-
I always see your people there, never see the other people there maintaining the dams on, all the way down through.
Well, we do maintain the dams at both Stillwater Reservoir and Great Sacandaga Lake at Conklinville Dam.
Yeah.
We do not maintain or operate the powerhouse.
Okay.
I believe the only one in the county that's doing it is the town of Wells,
Right,
Yes,
and they wish they could give it away tomorrow.
really?
they had a real issue a couple of years ago, and of course, they're just upstream of us on the Great Sacandaga, and that's a handful for them. For
It's
sure.
a very big handful for them.
Is the controls for the dam, who controls that? Is that something where the level reaches a certain amount, they automatically open, or is somebody's got to physically be there and tell the dam to open up?
So currently, we have 2 operators that work out the Stillwater Reservoir, and if there's a gate change needed, they will drive to the site and physically make that change. again, one of the benefits to the new spillway configuration is that they will need to do that less frequently. So you have a rain event coming on a weekend, you're gonna send the guys down for a gate change, open it up another 50%, you don't get the rain. Over the weekend, the water is 6 inches or a foot low. So what's really nice about this is, I'm a tugboat captain by trade. That's how I started my state service with the Canal Corporation. And you're always concerned about oversteering. And if you start to oversteer, you'll chase it all day long. And the same is true for water regulation. You can not anticipate a heavy amount of inflow that you might get, or you can anticipate a heavy amount of inflow that never materializes. And if you've guessed the wrong way on your gate opening, it could be a real problem. So this will produce, in those extreme events or the events that you don't get, it will produce less fluctuation or variation in that water level than what you have today.
And when did you say that this project is expected to start?
The contract has been awarded. You see some, basically right now, just site control. You'll see some fences up. You're already seeing in Old Forge some barge-mounted boring going on for geotechnical work to confirm bedrock elevation for cofferdams. And I want to note on this project, which is interesting as well, and one of the ways we're maintaining those normal lake elevations during the project is we'll construct essentially one side of the project at a time. And here, we'll cofferdam off the south side, the bird side first, then put a temporary water control gate on that side. So then we can block off this other side next to where the new gatehouse will be and reconstruct that. So it's a very complex project from a standpoint of sequencing the work, but that's what's going to allow us to maintain that control. And I do want to also say that part of the contract requirements are that our hands are on the valve during the project. So the contractor is there, we're going to be working hand in glove with them, but they do not have the discretion to, as contractors sometimes want to do, lower the level quite a bit to get at something that they'd rather not pay divers to access or something. So we will continue to be actively managing reservoir levels during the course of the project.
Just to give me some perspective on size, in terms of a footprint,
yeah,
how much bigger or smaller of a footprint is this compared to what's there now?
Well, it's about, I don't know if I can get it quickly from this other drawing, but I think the length of the spillway currently is around 80 feet. And this will be, the total spillway length, I think, is about 130 feet. Now that also, if you're looking at the dam, if you're there now standing at the gatehouse side and you're looking across, you'll see an earthen embankment that goes about another 100 feet beyond where the spillway ends. That earthen embankment, almost all of it, will be concrete spillway now. So that what you see as, oh, that's the dam, that people see the spillway and say, there's the dam. In reality, the dam encompasses a lot of things, including the earthen embankments on both sides. That will be primarily spillway now. So more than double the existing one.
I see a listing for a dry hydrant. Is that included in the new construction?
It is. Yeah, we've located that, and I can't tell you exactly.
It's kind of sitting just off that dock.
It is just back from the bird's dock. Yeah, we know it's there. It will
You're relocating it, I take it?
I'm sorry?
You guys are gonna relocate it?
Yes. I don't think it's going to be relocated. It'll be preserved during construction, and if it has to be replaced or enhanced, it's called out on our drawings. They're aware of it, and it will be there when the project's done and throughout the project.
Because of its age, it'd be kind of nice if it was replaced.
Yeah.
If we can make one request.
You can absolutely do that. We'll
have that contractor just go ahead and bump that thing and then.
What we want to do is leave you not just with a better structure, but certainly the enhancements you want to see from a community perspective that always you try and achieve in the course of a project like this. definitely bring that back. Yes,
I
sir.
don't see a tree in sight there. Are you guys gonna clear out all the way to Route 28?
There is not a lot of tree clearing except for the embankment area over by the birds. And there is some, we had to really work, this permit also, we had to obtain a permit for this site also from APA. So clearing needed to be kept at a minimum, and also impact to wetlands, because there's some just downstream of the embankment on that side. But we're not going to clear anything that we don't absolutely need to at that site or the old Forge site.
Now, I circle back to this power generation from this site. I mean, two years ago, they voted down this battery farm up in Racket Lake for emergency power requirements. It seems like a power dam at some location like that would fulfill that kind of purpose.
I know you've got a lot to do tonight. I can say from experience, anything that is regulated by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, and that's any dam that generates hydroelectric power, creates millions of dollars in liability for the owner. We're going through a Part 12 process with FERC now on the Stillwater Dam, which is just an exempt project. So it's only generating about 3.8 megawatts. And that consultant is going to cost us, and it's an every 10-year review, about $6 million. So I don't want to make any comments on whether that regulatory environment should approve or anything that's going on at the federal level. I know that the power generation there's got to be enough to make it worthwhile for somebody to invest in the licensing process, to get the license, to build the plant, to operate the plant, and then hopefully we and by extension the taxpayers are not on the hook for meeting the regulatory requirements that are attendant to having power generated there. So how's that for an answer? And I know you had a question too.
Is the dry hydrant going to be accessible throughout the whole project?
The dry hydrant, I believe, is accessible throughout the whole project, but I will confirm that and get back to you in addition to the question about replacement.
Thank you. Want to be added to the other side?
Other side, the gatehouse side?
Yeah.
We'll find out about that too.
You know, and we're on each side, you never know.
That's why we're here.
Any further questions?
Just one last one. They run the 90 miler up through there, and that's a bottleneck right by that dam.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there any comments on?
So yeah, we've been talking to the Northern Canoe Forest Trail. I'm sorry, didn't get that quite right.
Northern Forest Canoe Trail.
Northern Forest.
You had it
Canoe
right.
Trail.
Oh,
Yeah, I did
words,
that.
yeah.
For about the past year on a temporary relocation of their access site in Old Forge during the project, a permanent relocation of the access site post-project, and of course, access throughout the project, importantly, Labor Day weekend certainly, but throughout the year. And fortunately for the race, I can't say that there's anything we've come up with to improve what is kind of the natural bottleneck. But again, with the laydown area, most of the heavy equipment access and most of the work occurring from the bird side, there won't be too much change on the other side, which is where they portage over. I will say that at both sites, as we're doing at Indian Lake Dam, there will be a new set of steps to make it easier for car top vessels to go in the water because that's a permanent spot on the trail, not just for the race. This design you see here was given to us by our colleagues at the Department of Environmental Conservation. They say it's a good one to employ. This will be one of the last things that's done as part of the project, so we're open to feedback, both from the paddling community and the community as a whole. I do have a concern because that bulkhead is just kind of flat and straight, and people just sort of splash in, that during the race, that very laudable goal of a better sort of permanent structure might become an impediment at some level. And so that's an ongoing dialogue with the Northern Forest Group folks as well. So I've said a lot. This is not going to be the last time we're here talking. We'd also like, you've been gracious hosts for our board to meet here some years. We'd like to have a meeting here this summer and be able to provide an update and a tour of the project as well. And then again, work with you to schedule here in this building, if we can, a public information session to get more in depth with engineers that can answer a lot of these questions a lot more fluently than I. And I will leave the poster board if you'd like to have it anywhere in the building for folks.
Same engineering firm from Indian Lake is doing this as well.
Yes, one project, both from an engineering and a construction standpoint. So appreciate the time very much, and
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
One last thing, because I know I'm among friends. Go Bills.
Well, now you can do anything you want with it. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right. Now we get into the exciting stuff, the 2026 organizational items. Tag, you're it.
Do you want me to read the whole thing?
No.
Okay,
Give
good.
us the highlights, please.
Okay, so, there is a copy attached to the agenda, right?
Yes, there is.
Yes, a copy of our organizational meeting resolutions attached to the agenda. Really, the only changes are going to be, well, the mileage reimbursement rate is for 2026 is 72.5 cents per mile.
Is that
That's-
the latest one?
Yep. Well, as of the day I wrote this, so.
What day was that again?
Last Friday, I think, or.
Yeah, I think
Wednesday
it's
or
good.
Friday. Okay, good. Number 4, resolved that Amy Townsend, I would like as my deputy tax collector, and Maria Lutz as my deputy town clerk. It's very hard for Amy to skip out of the office as easily as it would be for Maria. So to cover my office if need be. I don't really use the deputy town clerk much anyway.
As an elected official, she's allowed to appoint her own deputy clerk at her leisure.
Yep. Really, what other changes are there? I don't really think there's any other changes. I mean, if you follow along with me with the different resolutions, the committee chairpersons changed last year. We also have, I added to the organizational resolutions because it's always been asked for and we've never had it in here. Cliff Baker is appointed as chief of police for the year of 2026. Amy Van Wee is our appointed assessor for the year 2026. Just makes it a little bit easier. And rumor buildings and ski trails will be Councilman Townsend and Khalil. Highway, transfer station, and parks will be Councilman Brownsell and Levy. Information office is Councilman Levy and Townsend. Assessor, codes, police will be Councilman Khalil and Brownsell. And sewer plant is Supervisor Fry and Councilman Khalil.
We get the good stuff, Andrew.
So that's really it. I mean, there's no other changes. It kind of goes every year. It really is pretty much the same.
One request.
Sure.
Could we up the parks procurement a little? I know a couple of years ago we did a little bit because it was way low.
What is, it's only 1,000, right?
Yeah, without board approval to 1,500 or something. I told Mike I'd do it in steps for him, and so that obviously he's got to run with his budget parameters anyway, but
He's very good about staying within his budget lines.
yeah.
And I've been counseled to not spend his
He's
budget
obviously
lines.
not as big as highway, so I don't want to give him quite the flexibility Sean has, but he's not far off, so I wanted to bring that up.
Well, highway's 2,500.
Like
So
1,500.
1,500 for parks I thought would give a little more flexibility.
Can we make a separate motion on that one than just accepting them all? So I can make it as a full.
Yeah, that would make it easier for you.
We can make the motion to accept this as amended.
Okay.
Is it? Yeah.
Okay.
I went to school for that.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I just need a motion.
I'll move that.
As amended?
As amended, please.
Do we have a second as amended?
I'll second that.
This is for the organizational minutes as presented and amended. Further discussion? All in favor, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Brownsell.
Aye.
Councilman Khalil.
Aye.
Supervisor Fry.
Aye.
Councilman Levy.
Aye.
And Councilman Townsend.
Aye.
The next things to address are our code of ethics. We need a motion and a second to adopt that. The last code of ethics we did, I believe, was 90. One? Was it 90? No, 19. No, that's.
The original was 19.
Yeah, 1970. I think it was 91.
91
I don't
was,
have it
yes.
right. But I think that maybe when we got a little committee together and kind of went over the code of ethics and our alcohol policy, because so much has changed. You know, with the legalization of marijuana, and what are we doing with those people, you know? So, I don't know, if you want to put committees together?
I would pass them as they were from
For now,
last
yeah.
year, and then appoint a committee to review.
Okay.
Alcohol and drug?
Yes.
Yeah.
Code of ethics
Code of
first?
ethics and the,
Okay. As presented, okay. Okay, who wants to make that motion?
I'll make
Second.
I'll second.
further discussion. Committee will be appointed at a later date. I'm all in favor, or roll call vote, please.
Councilman Brownsell.
Aye.
Councilman Khalil.
Aye.
Supervisor Fry.
Aye.
Councilman Levy.
Aye.
Councilman Townsend.
Aye.
And last on that is our emergency management plan. On that part. I didn't really review the emergency management plan in depth at all.
I think Herb had updated that a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago?
It's about time for that to be reviewed too. So maybe we would accept a motion to accept as is with a committee to be appointed.
Okay.
We'll see if we can't pull Herb back from Florida for that.
Good idea.
A motion and a second?
I'll make it.
Okay. Second?
I'll do that. I'll second.
Further discussion?
It doesn't require a roll call, I guess.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Committee to be appointed at a later date.
All right.
You're gonna remind us on the later dates, correct?
Yes, yeah. That was it on the organizational resolutions and procurement policy.
All right, that brings us to highway. Tag, you're it, Sean.
All right. We hauled garbage and recycling, plowed and sanded roads, parking lots and sidewalks, checked roads for trees and removed them after the strong winds, cleaned up snowbanks from around town to make room for more, pushed back and shelved roads to make room for more snow and to accommodate snowmobiles, changed tires on the backhoe and roll-off truck, still have a couple tires on the roll-off truck. We started clearing Janae's Field and Arrowhead Park for fire and lights so that they could both freeze in and it'll be easier to plow. We're gonna haul garbage and recycling, plow and sand, and keep our roads pushed back and shelved. Mount the 2 tires on the roll-off truck. We can keep clearing the Arrowhead Park and Janae's Field as necessary. I'm gonna try to lift the skid steer to make it so it ends, providing I hear that our new one is going to be delivered. But I'm gonna try to list it so it ends the day before our board meeting maybe, not the night of, but maybe the day before. So that's hopefully a seamless transition. Gonna take delivery of the new skid steer attachments and take delivery of the pickup truck with a plow possibly, hopefully within a month. That's all I have for highway.
Okay. Any questions of highway?
Thanks for shelving them roads too. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Worthy project for sure, and gets them off the road, and sorry you have to go back sometimes 2 and 3 times. It's nothing you did.
Is what it is.
Appreciate it.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
But it's beyond appreciated.
It really is. It's,
I mean, it works for pushing snow back, and it gives the snowmobiles a safe place to ride off the road, like we've talked about, and it saves the road surface.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you could go on for the benefits of it, and it's a good look for our town.
And if you're out checking roads, why not, right?
Right.
Or if you're out doing it, you're checking roads, why not? Thank you.
Sure.
The transfer station.
Open 5 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed from 12 to 1 daily for lunch, and we're closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The building is neat and orderly. Stump dump is closed for the season. Please enter the building before going outside, and if you have any questions, ask the attendant. We're here to assist. It's pretty much the same thing I said last month.
Any questions of transfer? Hearing none. Thank you, sir. Living 80K.
Okay, Living 80K, want to introduce Miriam Dowd. She's a little petite, so you might not be able to see her behind that Dennis there. Miriam's our new community resource navigator. She commenced January 2nd now. She is part-time right now. She is continuing a job with New York State at the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities through April, right? And then she'll be then 25 to 30 hours a week for us. This is a result of a grant through the Adirondack Community Foundation. It's a 3-year grant meant to improve the social safety net for our rural communities in the North Country. So we were very proud to be able to get that grant, and we are working in collaboration with several other nonprofits like the Old Forge Library, Community Wellness Partners, Nichols Church, Town of Webb School, and View Arts Center. Those were the primary ones that supported us in the grant application. Okay, so Community Resource Navigator to us is someone who's going to be a connecting point between people and resources that are pre-existing, whether it's local or county or beyond. All right, so Miriam's gonna be, as she can right now, getting out. We're introducing her through the town board meetings. She participated with me with the Hamilton County Cares meeting on January 5th, which is a Zoom meeting of all Hamilton County resources. So I was glad to have her with me to say she's a new resource for them as well. So many opportunities for her. She's going to be doing ride-alongs with the senior lunch delivery program. So many good things that she's going to be doing, and I can't wait to get her more full-time, but we'll just have to wait a little bit. We're actively advertising now for a new farmers market food security program coordinator that is now on social media, and it'll be in both the Hamilton Express and the Adirondack Express newspaper soon. That is a part-time position with us as well, about 20 hours a week. So if you know anybody who's interested, please have them apply. This next thing I'm mentioning, even though it's specific to Town of Webb, it will be a benefit to the Town of Inlet, although I'm hoping not too frequently. We agreed to be a fiscal sponsor for the Webb PBA, Police Benevolent Association, to hold publicly donated funds while providing a tax deduction benefit to the donor. This is primarily for the funding search to activate a new K-9 unit, of which tracking is the primary feature of that K-9 unit. So we know that we've got people who get lost hiking or wander off or whatnot. So your town will benefit from that resource as well. So we're happy to do that. The funds raised will primarily go towards the vehicle purchase. I think everything else they found donors for, the dog, the vet bills, food and things like that, which is wonderful. We're also actively working to identify funding opportunities for some of Mike Bartolotti's projects regarding Fern Park, and he mentioned Arrowhead Park as well. He sent me an update or an offering from the Recreational Trails Program for New York State. We're looking into that a little bit more. I think that particular grant is a rotating grant, which I don't think is going to come around to municipalities until December 1, 2027. But I don't want to go into a lot of detail about that tonight because all these grants with the state and whatnot are very labor intensive, a lot of information. You want to make sure you've got the right information going out, but we'll be working closely with Mike. We want to know what your projects are. You know, we kind of got to have the projects identified before we know what we're looking for.
And there's a lot of planning that goes into that when you're filling out these applications. So we'll work closely with him on that. And then again, just the senior lunch delivery program continues to go well. We appreciate all the volunteers within the town of Inlet, with Julie and her drivers, and getting the meals out to your residents. So that's it for tonight.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Communications. Good news, Danny?
I'm not sure that I have any new good news.
Not the other then.
Yeah, I can tell you, I do have some good news. The improvements that we made for the highway repeater are exceptional as far as I know. Mostly to benefit trails who are way out there and are fully able to communicate all the way to the other end, even when we're doing Indian Lakeside. So.
Oh, that's huge.
Yep. So that's really good news for the fire department when and if we can get the antenna work to be done. I guess they're just literally 6 months behind with projects, and there are no other companies to go to. So if someone wants to start an antenna manufacturing company, this might be a good thing to do. There's a lot of work backed up. But both counties are ready to go. I believe they have almost all the equipment. They're literally sitting on it, just waiting for the antennas.
For the antennas. And then, it'd be nice if they materialize when the weather gets nice. Yeah.
That'd be a good plan.
Yeah. Won't hold our breath, but.
Everything else seems to be working great. The building is actually maybe a little too warm. It's like in the 50s, but it's not hurting anything.
Have we gotten T-Mobile to come around on the 911 addresses? Was it T-Mobile or was it AT&T?
T-Mobile's the only one that was non-compliant. I believe they're compliant now, but Herkimer's completely in charge of that. I've hounded them to the point where they asked me to stop hounding them.
Yeah, because I know we were almost ready to send out the addressing, but then something else happened, right, John?
Well,
Andrew?
John came up today and he's been in talks with Verizon, so we think we've got it hopefully figured out now.
All right.
So.
Yeah, because I was going to then point to Verizon.
Yeah, no, but that lady's retiring February 20th or something, so, but we're working.
Okay.
So they finally answered us, so.
Danny, how does that heat? How does that shelter heat? What do you?
There are two heaters in there. One is just an electric baseboard backup, and that's set for really low.
Okay.
But the
Equipment.
HVAC unit actually does have an electric heater core in it, so that's what's heating. And there's actually, the equipment's turned on, so.
It produces heat too.
It's generating its own heat kind of thing.
Okay.
But I've been checking there's been nothing on the cameras, obviously, nothing's moved in 3 months, which is good. I don't want things moving around on the road.
Well, and who would have thought the used deal we got on that shelter is actually a very.
That thing's incredible.
It's a great shelter, and after we found out both air conditioning and heating units actually still function. Some of this stuff was built better 20 years ago than it was last year, so we lucked out.
Just that heating unit, what you said was like $55,000.
Yeah. So that was a good find the other side of the county. Thank you. Planning board? Anything on the signs?
Like you mentioned, we turned it over to Chief Club.
Well, that's on the noise.
Nothing on signs. Just turned over to the noise. I don't think we've done anything more on signs, John. They're all looking at different towns to see what they're doing in other places before.
And Chief Baker's bringing that noise back to you?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Hopefully.
And update us at the next meeting?
Because the way our ordinance reads right now is we enforce Hamilton County's noise ordinance, which is older than us, right, John? It's older than the board that was sitting up there.
It's still the law, so what?
So
We have something.
So Cliff wanted to take a look at that and just make sure that there wasn't
On the
anything
books.
too integrated in there.
So we need to do a public hearing at some point in time,
If we're
next
gonna
couple of
adopt our
months,
own.
if we're going to adopt our own.
Unless we're gonna just use that, which is already in our law, we don't have to.
We could use that and amend it to fit our needs, which would also trip the public hearing process. So as we've done in the past with public hearings, I kind of like to schedule one starting maybe maybe in March if that's not too extreme, and hold it over at least 3 months so that we get into the summer residents too, coming up maybe in May.
I'll check with Cliff.
Trying to move things forward. Baby steps, I know. Parks, building codes, assessor information are attached. Anybody have anything they want to point out from their respective departments? I think you're it.
I'll just piggyback to what Tom mentioned about the snowmobile trail permits and the program. Number 10 in my report does bring back the idea that, you know, it'd be nice to put together a committee to at least annually look at the program, the system, all of it, like the trails, the police, how it's being enforced. So it's not just the publicity department, it's trails department should be working and communicating with parks departments in both towns.
Yep.
You know, highway, trails, all of it, you know, all on the same page. Just one meeting once a year that everyone could share their input.
I think I cornered the new supervisor from Webb into agreeing to a committee earlier tonight. So, and I don't mean cornered because he's very receptive to that idea.
Yep.
Very receptive to that idea. That's it.
That's it. I'll say, Frozen Fire and Lights, I'm looking for money for fireworks. And I can let everyone know that we have a new king and queen for 2026. It will be Ray and Janet Cardell.
Very nice. Do they know what they're in for?
Isn't told them.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Trails. Strong start to winter. I know we've talked about most of these issues already. So I'll go right to the drainage by the Caboose Trail. I believe our trail boss, Mr. Chip, has talked to most of the board members, hopefully, about this. Or he was going to, or will be.
He was. I was going to stop today, and he was sick, so I bowed out. He actually went home early and everything, so he actually warned me like 6 this morning.
He has a plan that's not going to cost the town too much money to help address this. There's apparently a drop inlet available someplace locally, and some piping, and he's already proven himself with doing some drainage work elsewhere. I think we can nip this in the bud. It's unfortunately, the state hasn't been willing to pick up this, and no matter how much we begged over the last 10, 15 years, and no matter how many times I pointed out to them they did it on private property up across from Fifth Lake where there was dirt washing into the lake repeatedly, and they put a drop inlet way up on the property, on private property there, and fixed that situation. But I think we can handle that this spring and hopefully put an end to the flooding issues over there for both the gift shop and the caboose and a house along that trail. It's a benefit having that trail go through there. I think it's incumbent upon the town to do something to take care of that. I don't think the board is against Chip living within his budget to help make that happen.
Shouldn't be too bad a project.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for letting us go through there. This is the way it's supposed to work.
I got some on trails too.
Go ahead.
A while back, we were trying to get the snowmobiles to Town Park Information Office, Police Department. I met with Leanne and Melissa, and they have no problem with us putting a trail across. It actually fixes one of her problems because her renters don't know how to get to the trail. So anyway, then I talked with Benji. He plows both. No problem. I told Chip as soon as he heals up, I don't know what he's got, we'll walk it, luck. But anyway, so I hope it's not the flu or whatever, but he wasn't feeling good, so I didn't visit with him today, but I told
So
him
it's
here.
still coming from like the Woods driveway?
Yeah, but we'll come off the Woods Road, and then we'll eventually have to list them as additional insured, I guess, Bonnie, because that'll be part of our system.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we get a lot of traffic, but it gives them a chance to get to the police station information.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and they're both totally on board with it, so that'll happen
Signage.
right away. Signage, and they had no problem with that, so. And Benji plows them both, so that was even easier, so I don't have to meet with another guy, he does them both, so. He said he's got no problem facilitating, so we'll get Chip on board as soon as he's healed up and get her going.
Sometimes change in ownership is a good
Oh,
thing.
hands down. And Sean, you're good with it where I showed you, I thought it would come out?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Just show me exactly where you want it to come out and I'll clear that snowbank out of there. Now, with that trail being in there, now that would eliminate sidewalk from any snowmobile use, correct?
Well, the sidewalk that we currently talk about opening, the other sidewalks to get to Eagle Bay and that,
No,
they're gonna have
I'm
to stay on
talking
that.
about in front of Mary's gift shop,
Right.
that sidewalk.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a way to alleviate, we can keep them right off that. There's no reason for them to. As long as this trail is operational, it'll probably facilitate better.
Because even if Tony Harper's were to reopen in the winter, they'd have back access.
Yes,
Yeah.
to boot. So everybody wins in my opinion on
Yeah,
that.
that's
So,
yeah.
and if there was any snow left in the parking lot for them to, when it's bare like this, that'd be great too.
Leave a corner, you mean? Just
Yeah.
a little corner.
Yeah, but the sidewalk would be closed.
Yes, absolutely. That section that we just reopened here a few days
You
ago.
wouldn't have two entrances.
No, I don't see it that way unless somebody else does, but I
No,
don't.
there's no need for sure.
Sucks there.
Get 'em up.
It's terrible to try to,
Right.
no, it's just, it's because we didn't have another choice at the time,
Yeah,
so that,
it'll take signage and it'll take,
What,
people.
what are the odds if that sidewalk's dry, Doug opens the bakery in the winter? Oh, it's wishful thinking. Sorry, donuts.
I didn't tell you up or what?
Yeah, that's it. Trails.
That's it for now, yeah.
Thank you for taking that on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
it's you.
problem.
Town clerk's report. Tag, you're it again. Rest it up from earlier.
Yeah, I guess so. Monthly report, revenue is $19,507.26, which obviously the majority of that is snowmobile permits. Building and zoning fees need to be revisited. Is that on you or me?
As presented tonight. The last time these were done was 2016. We're looking at increasing quite a few of them, but not by much. The board's had a chance to review these.
John Roach, thank you. This is good.
I don't think any of these are out of line, and you said that most of these are in line with what Webb's doing of one of our neighbors. Maybe a couple might be a little higher, but theirs are 2 years old at this point.
They're 7 years old.
Oh, 7 years old. All right. What's the board's pleasure?
I move we accept.
Copy of these will be available both in the, if passed, in the clerk's office and in the building and zoning office. Do we have a motion?
Dan.
Second it.
Oh, he made it. Second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you for putting this together, John.
You want to do that one first?
Which
Or
one?
this That or approve his spending on that?
Yes, he's also asked for spending on a update to the residential code of New York State. You're looking for the single license?
Right here.
It's the 1603, and that gives me access to everything, new and old on there.
And that's for a 3-year,
That's for 3 years, 1603.
as presented earlier to us tonight. What's the board's pleasure?
I move we accept it.
I'll second it.
Again, further discussion? So it seems like a reasonable fee for 3 years, $1,603. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
All right, Justice Court gave their, report. Judge Airy is $11,164 for the year. And Judge Levy is $9,579 for the year. I think you had the report. I just need approval to send to the audit services for the court system.
How much of this did New York State get to keep?
Yeah, I
All
know.
good.
They keep the majority.
Motion to approve as presented.
I'll make them.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain? 4 yeses, 1 abstention. Send it on.
Have a resolution proposed purchase of property owned by John Deming on Evans Drive. Whereas the town of Inlet has been presented with the opportunity to consider the purchase of real property owned by John Deming located on Evans Drive for potential municipal or public use, particularly a handicap access trail to Eagle Cliff. And whereas the town board has carefully reviewed the financial implications associated with the proposed acquisition of said property, and whereas after due consideration, the town board finds that the proposed purchase is not financially prudent at this time, given current fiscal priorities and obligations of the town. And whereas the town board has also received input from residents expressing opposition to the proposed use of the property for handicap trail access, and notes that a significant number of residents do not support this aspect of the proposal. And whereas the town board believes it is important to weigh both financial responsibility and community sentiment when considering property acquisitions, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Inlet hereby determines that it is not in the best financial interest of the town to proceed with the purchase of the property owned by John Deming on Evans Drive at this time. And be it further resolved that due to financial considerations and resident opposition to the proposed handicap trail access, the town of Inlet hereby declines and rejects the right to purchase said property. Be it further resolved that this determination does not preclude the town board from reconsidering similar opportunities in the future should financial conditions or community priorities change.
Do we have a motion?
I'll offer it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Hearing none. Call the vote, please, on that.
Councilman Brownsell?
Aye.
Councilman Khalil?
Aye.
Supervisor Fry?
I abstain or recuse, seeing as how I used to own that piece of property.
Councilman Levy?
Aye.
Councilman Townsend?
Aye.
Okay.
4 ayes. So carried.
And last, I have a letter to read. Concerns regarding hazardous conditions in Inlet. To the Inlet Town Board. The summary of issues. I am writing to once again highlight the ongoing dangerous and hazardous conditions caused by the actions of both the Inlet Highway Department and the Inlet Barnstormer Snowmobile Club. As previously stated at a town board meeting in 2018, the removal of snowbanks from the sides of the road by the Highway Department, followed by the barnstormers operating their groomers along these areas, including on private property, has resulted in the creation of a snowmobile trail. This situation has led to numerous vehicles running off the road, becoming stuck, and requiring tow services. There has even been an incident where a vehicle rolled onto its side, trapping the occupant and necessitating assistance to free her. Consequences and safety concerns. Snowmobile speeds are now excessively high. Law enforcement is unable to enforce the 20 miles per hour speed limit due to the presence of signs labeling the road as a trail, as well as constant groomer activity. In New York State, the legal speed limit on a snowmobile trail is 55 miles per hour. The removal of snowbanks has further enabled snowmobiles to trespass across private properties, creating unnecessary liability for property owners if an accident occurs. Last year, there was a serious accident with significant injuries on someone's property. Previous discussions and ongoing problems. I raised these concerns in 2018, and the board agreed that having a trail on the sides of the road was not a good idea and should be discontinued. However, 7 years later, the same problems persist. Authority and permissions. I would like to remind the board that neither the town supervisor nor the highway department has the authority to permit the Inlet Barnstormers to create trails or operate groomers on private property without written permission from each individual property owner. Request for action. Cease the removal of snowbanks from the sides of the road and stop dumping them on private property, which disrupts driveways and creates a mess. Immediately halt the operation of barnstormer groomers on private property and remove all signage referring to the road as a trail. Notify me of the town's intentions so I can determine whether further action is necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Jason Pallotta. And he lives on Uncas Road. He provided a couple of pictures of some vehicles off the road.
John, how many rods wide is that road?
It's 49.5 feet, 3 rods wide.
I mean, I don't want to tear apart his letter, but the highlights to me that have to be addressed are the fact that, you know, the barnstormers are not operating on private property. They're operating within the right of way. The trail that he talks about us not wanting to do was actually a physical trail that we tried to create down the side of the road prior to snowmobile season so that there would at least be a trail. It was determined there wasn't a good side of the road to put it on. You know,
It's a good idea, though.
It was a good idea.
I thought it was.
It was a good idea, but again, as was mentioned earlier tonight, if you're going to do that, you need a trail down both sides of the road, which can operate on top of the banks is what we have. And quite honestly, if we're grooming the top of the banks and you're going over driveways with good clearance and lines of sight coming from the driveway and the snowmobiles, you are creating a speed impediment because they are going up and down rather than riding on the road surface in its entirety where they could go 55 miles an hour. You know, this is a he said, she said, unfortunately, and I believe our response to Mr. Pilato would be we're going to continue to do what we have been doing with the support of the county and the town and the barnstormers.
I mean, we're within the parameters of the road.
We're within the parameters of the road. We're not trying to, any place where we've gone off onto private property, we try and get permission.
And if I can just add the process, when we go through, we shelf the roads. Just, when we go out shelf the roads, we take a 10-wheeler, and I always make sure that there's a truck, loader, whatever, to follow to clear driveways, so we don't have that issue. And this last time, we went and did the same thing, and the road was, shelved the road, truck came by, pushed through, cleared the
Clean it up.
driveways out. Then he went back with the loader and pushed everybody's driveway entrances back. Now, I don't know if that's what he's talking about, dumping snow on private property, but that's only helping the plow guys with their driveway entrances as well as, you know, clearing sight lines and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and we're within the right of way, we're not on private property, it's a 3-rod road, there should be no issues.
I plowed quite a few driveways on Uncas Road. I always push my snow back because I want visibility, because I don't want to cause
Right, yeah.
liability at all. I just don't want to cause it. So I don't understand the hassle of pushing snow back. It just makes it better.
And I've had to run over there twice because somebody deliberately put snow in that,
I've seen that.
on that
It's
shelf.
not me.
Back on it.
Deliberate.
I don't do that.
Because he just got back with the loader,
Right.
and that you had to find snow to do this. So that's a deliberate action, that if somebody got hurt on it,
Right.
then who's at fault? I don't believe it should be the town on the hook, because we've been over there twice, clearing them out.
Right.
And if somebody deliberately puts it there, in our right of way, that's a problem.
That you're maintaining the way
You
you
did
feel.
push snow back out of visibility. You did a good job.
The speed limit isn't 55 there, though.
Correct.
No.
I was just gonna say,
that's the other thing.
20 down the side of the road.
the town of Inlet has a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit everywhere, roads and trails,
For snowmobiling.
for snowmobiles. It's a local law.
He's referencing the law that I believe is if it's an unmarked dirt road or a highway surface, that for X amount of feet,
Yeah,
there's
that
no
sounds about right.
signage, then that would be a 55, you know, if you go further on Uncas Road,
Yeah. It's 25.
well, it's,
Because we've redeemed that.
if
Just
it's
got
been
that
posted.
It's posted.
Right, but if it's not posted, I'm saying, in the time.
He's saying in reading his.
In the reading of the law, if it hasn't been posted for X number of feet, the speed limit automatically becomes 55 miles an hour on a state highway. And as we know, state highways are town roads, county roads, or state roads. It's just a generic term they use for a road.
The Uncas Road was 55 until the speed study.
Speed study, and then we.
25.
Correct.
So that's not.
That has changed.
Quick question on the snowmobile speed limit. It is 20 miles an hour within the village area for snowmobiles?
It's supposed to be, yes.
Okay. Ever think about actually running radar or speed enforcement? And the only reason I'm bringing this up, I live right on a snowmobile trail. I don't mind the snowmobiles, but we do have a few, every once in a while, every day or two, there's a few that go by that are on the throttle real hard. And between the lumps and the bumps and the driveways that we have, they still continue to fly and jump over them.
Nate, you want to take this one?
We do run radar on Uncas Road. We conducted a detail last weekend. We got into 3 pursuits last weekend trying to chase snowmobiles. They're going 80. We can't. We're not allowed to chase them. You know, we'll go a distance. We have to terminate. It's our policy and procedure. We're not allowed to chase them going at that excessive speed.
Do Do you run a snowmobile for the
We
police
run,
department?
so we have a snowmobile here and we have a UTV here.
Yeah, I've seen you.
We run radar on the UTV, and then we have a snowmobile that is what we use as a chase sled.
Right.
So, but we can only chase to a point though. If it's deemed by the officer that the vehicle or the pleasure vehicle is going too fast, it will
Unsafe, yeah.
cause unsafe conditions for the officer and the individual fleeing, because ultimately, if that individual gets into an accident while we're chasing them, can leave the town to liability. Because it's against our policies and procedures.
I understand, so Uncas Road is like a drag strip over there, I get it. So, you know where I live, right over here on 28th?
That's correct. You live just in the 30 mph, right? When you're just coming into town on the
Yeah,
right-hand
so,
side?
yeah, the flashing light,
Coming outside.
the flashing sign coming this way.
Correct.
So when the people come down from Rocky Point, that long straightaway, they're going pretty good, and they veer around the general corner, and they slow down a bit, and then they don't see anybody in the driveway opening, they hammer on them again. There's people that really go pretty quickly, 40, 50 miles an hour through there. If you could run, if it's possible at all, to run any speed enforcement from the curve where the flashing sign is into the village, I think that you'd probably rustle up some money there, and they can't really get away from you that fast because of the lumps and bumps, and then going through town, around the caboose. I think you'd have a lot better chance of catching them and enforcing the law. But we do, that's a pretty bad place there, and if you're coming out of our driveways, all of us that live there, and you're coming out of the driveway, first you have to stop for the sidewalk to look for a snowmobile, or God forbid they're coming too fast to run into the side of your car. Then you have to check traffic, so, and I'm not complaining, I love living there. But there are a few people that push the envelope with the speed.
I'm well aware of the envelope being pushed with the speed.
Sure. And if you want to sit in my driveway, you're more than welcome.
Well, luckily we've had a lot of people on Uncas Road and on Gilbert Road offer their driveway for us to run radar, run patrols out of it, and we very much appreciate the community's
And
assistance
they
on
can't, if
that.
you're sitting in my driveway, they can't see it because there's a lot of foliage right now. It's great.
And not to say that it's impossible to catch these snowmobiles, but especially, we're one guy usually during the day. Unless, obviously there's one patrol and then the chief of police is usually here during the day, which means we can't staff the snowmobile every day when it's busy. So we run radar out of the car and we attempt to pull over snowmobiles when we're running radar in the car, but 2 years ago, my first winter here, I got into a pursuit. He was speeding right where you said he was, crossed the road to the caboose. I turned on my emergency lights, he looked behind me, he said, "You're in a car, I'm on a snowmobile, I'm gonna go on the trail and see you."
You're right.
There's some people, unfortunately, who I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but they're gonna run until they can't run no more. Unfortunately, that's just how some people are. But like I said, there's only so many of us, unfortunately.
Sure.
On the weekends, the Chief Baker, he tries to make double patrol. Like the incident that happened on Gilbert Road the other day, there was 2 officers there conducting a checkpoint. We try to have 2 or 3 guys working on the weekend, so if there is a complaint, we have an extra guy to go handle that and keep a guy on the road for something that happens farther outside of town. But I assure you, we do try to run radar as much as we can for the snowmobiles. It's just that there's a point though to where we have to factor in the risk versus reward.
Right.
So we're gonna risk our life and their life over going 80, and then I get hurt or he gets hurt, and then like I said, it turns to a lawsuit.
No, the area that you're speaking with first, the Uncas Road, I can see that, because it's wide open, and you can get right on going.
There are some straightaways.
But over where we are, it'd be a little bit easier.
It's easier, I don't disagree with you, but I assure you that we try, it's every year we have the same problems. I feel like, every year we try to get as many as we can, but unfortunately, like I said, unless we're on a weekend day or a holiday day, there's usually just one of us here trying to run patrol.
Well, if you'd like, you have permission to use my driveway anytime you want.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Nate. All right, folks, I do have an executive session on a specific employee issue, but I will entertain short public comments if possible, please, before we do that, because we have run long tonight.
I just have a quick question.
Sure, Julie.
So with the Uncas Road and the plowing out into the road, are they the plow person putting snow onto the shelf? Okay, is the shelf part of the road?
It is part of our right of way that we can maintain.
Okay,
It's facing
so-
a snowbank.
Okay, so I guess it's like, so you had mentioned earlier that there's no law preventing this, but it sounds to me like this is causing a huge safety concern. And whether there's a law or not, intentionally causing something that could be unsafe to people using the code, I is wrong, right? Like, I mean, so how come all we can do to that is just a nice, like, hey, can you not do that?
I might tag you with going back to maybe the highway school people or your association and see if there's anything in highway law specifically for that. And if they don't have an answer, if you wouldn't mind reaching out to our legal team at Miller, Mannix, Schaffner, Hafner. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Like how'd I get that right?
There's probably no law about me standing in the middle of a shelf, but if I stood there all day and I was causing a problem, I'm pretty sure the cops would come and be like, you've gotta move. You're not allowed to stand in the middle of a snowmobile shelf all day. So that they have to go out in the road, and it's the same thing. If they're deliberately, if this person is deliberately attempting to cause what could potentially be a car or a snowmobile accident.
There's a big difference between plowing the driveway initially and leaving the snow there, and after it's been cleaned, going back and putting it back. So I think you raise a very valid point.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind trying to do some research on that, that would be huge. Thank you,
Yeah.
Julie.
Yeah, no, thanks, Sean, because I mean, that's not right.
Can I just add to that? I want to clarify something too. The area that's where these incidents are happening, is that the designated snowmobile trail area as well? There's a NISA trail there maintained by the barnstormers that's getting funded?
No, I don't. Are they getting funded for that?
Many years ago came to us and asked us for permission to groom our roadsides so that, because they were getting paid for that mileage.
I thought they got.
Mistake.
I thought they got denied on that though because it was roadside.
I don't think so. And I believe at the time we gave them permission to groom a 6-foot area from where the plow stops, where he's shelving now.
Right, that was before he was shelving. They were supposed to be taking their equipment.
It's from where the
the
plow edge of the road is, and they're allowed. We gave them permission to use 6 feet of that out of town.
Right, that's when Paul was literally going down and grooming it and cleaning the driveways himself.
But they
I did it.
And you did it too.
But
It's been forever.
Okay.
I asked that because if it is a designated and funded trail, there may be something out there from New York State Parks in terms of having jurisdiction for that and enforceability. I don't know who would enforce it, but this issue had come up. I had brought it up the other day on the page that I manage, and somebody had shared some information on there that for designated trails, there was something related to parks as far as where this was people who may obstruct the trails.
I think it is part of what they claim
Yeah.
in their funding. I'll double check that tomorrow.
Well, if we had some,
Is it a corridor trail?
That's what I'm thinking.
It is
I
a
might be,
corridor trail. It
yeah,
is a
might be
state
part of the
corridor
corridor trail. Yeah.
so
It is a corridor.
So
trail.
between that possible regulation and it's something that we could get from out of the highway of dumping snow illegally, we might have something actionable go back on the person doing this. So do you have anything you could put forward for us on that? This person that gave that idea to you?
Yeah, I could look into it further, see what I could come up with.
Thank you.
And I can call New York State and see if that's part of their claimed mileage.
That would be great.
I might be able to tell by the map, right?
It's a funded
C, yeah, okay.
CA.
Yep, C.
Yeah, I think that was what I saw the other night. Had to be a designated trail.
It
for there to
is.
be any, if an issue were to be made. So this is just obviously.
Yeah, it's gotta be because Bug Lake came into it and they stopped taking Bug Lake. Yeah, so it is CA. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say, though, those barnstormers, when they had more people and were more active, they did groom back, but now they don't. So it's gotten kind of contentious with some people plowing driveways because they tend to
It
just.
was a waste of time. He just scraped it right off.
No, but I mean, they tend to bring the snowbanks back into the road, and then you're down to a 1-lane road, and then everybody's mad about that. So
Right.
it's been kind of contentious. Everybody's just moving the same snow back and forth.
Yeah, it's just one guy.
It's, no, I'm not with the barnstormers. They used to get back further, now
Right.
they don't, so when they groom them, they tend to bring the road in, they close the road.
Well, that's what we dealt with on the gravel section, is that we go, we plow the road with our
Right.
small truck at first and get it back
Right.
as far as we can, but then we go up and drag it back in the road.
Mhm.
And the Uncas Road isn't very wide. to
No, it's not in
begin with.
places, right.
Now you're down to a lane,
Mhm.
a lane and a half.
Right.
At best. And, if they don't really have to pull that snow in because we tend to leave a little bit more
Right.
snow on there and plow it when necessary. But we had to take the big truck up there and shove it back because it was so bad.
Right, but when they bring it in, the way they just don't groom back like they used to, it's,
Take advantage of the full right of way.
right, it's kind of, I don't know, it has irritated people.
Well, they don't have the machines that are big.
They don't have.
To do it, to straddle that hump and do the job.
And when Racket was doing it, they did a nice job because they had a big enough machine to knock the moguls down. There was no point in bringing that little John Deere thing to do.
Right, won't do it.
Gary Lee, so you're,
Yeah, when I was here the last time also, I asked permission to seed the transit or the old dump site. And I and Steve put in 14 plots up there with soil and seed. And I also spread thousands and thousands of milkweed seeds over that section. So we'll see next year what happens. I don't think the birds ate them all.
Hope they left a couple.
They were around, but I think it would make a beautiful butterfly farm there. Thank you.
better than a solar farm there. Because the money wasn't there.
Well, I understood the solar farm because you had to put stakes in and you were going to penetrate the membrane.
They were actually gonna do pads on.
Yeah, they had a pad.
Yeah, they were gonna put.
They had a really unique design, but it was a more expensive
It was,
design.
there was no money in it. It just.
When financially.
Anything
sustain
else for
itself.
public comment? We really do have to wrap things up. Folks, thank you very much for coming and engaging tonight. I know not all of you got the answers you wanted, but this is part of the public process. Thank you. Motion to go in executive session and ask everybody to clear the room.
So moved.
Second?
Second that.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Stand in executive session, folks.
Can I get permission to shut this off?
Yes, please.
And there won't be anything voted on, anything we have to worry about?
Nope. Yes. I'm ready for bed. Huh? Who did something as bad? Where?
Sometime last week.
They got it.
See you, Sean.
Can't find any.
Thank you again. Good evening. Sorry you gotta go through that. I'll keep you in the loop on it. Just do the best you can. Stay within your
Just
perimeters and
around the
you're
house
good.
again?